Hey, what's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at one of the books here and give you an idea of some of the fighters that were around at that time. And then we're looking at the 1940s and 1950s. And right now you're looking at Joe Brown. Now, Joe Brown they have here from Chicago, which is where he resided, but he was originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And he was a dynamic fighter. They called him Old Browns because he got the lightweight championship away from Wallace Bud Smith when he was like 31 years old. So they called him Old Browns, but he was a phenomenal fighter. He lost the title to Carlos Ortiz, but he fought them all. Dynamite fighter. Look at my profile for Joe Brown, and you'll take a look at his career. Here you have Charlie Riley. Charlie Riley, fascinating fighter. As you can see here, he's from St. Louis, Missouri. He had a title opportunity against Sandy Sadler, came up short, but he was a phenomenal fighter. He was one of those fighters. In fact, when I saw him, he reminds me of Kevin Kelly. Or I should say Kevin Kelly reminds me of Charlie Riley. Really fast with his hands, good foot movement, very strong puncher. Ellie Bennett, good Australian fighter. I think he had one of the welterweight crowns over there. Very good fighter. George Sugar Costner. Remember, he had an incident with Sugar Ray Robinson. And during the referee's instructions, Robinson just let him know it's only going to be one round, brother, because he didn't like the fact that George Costner had sugar in front of his name. So he knocked him out in one round. But George Sugar Costner, believe it or not, was a very good fighter. Sensational welterweight from Los Angeles. Man, the reason why I took this book out really is because I wanted to show you Davey Sands. Now, Davey Sands, you heard me talk about him in my Carl Bobo Olsen profile. Because Davey Sands, nobody really wanted to fight Davey Sands. He was from Australia, and he was almost like a Charlie Burley. It was a situation like Charlie Burley. And he was beating everybody up. He was a middleweight. But he won the middleweight championship of Australia, welterweight, light heavyweight. He had all them titles. But he was a fascinating fighter, was Davey Sands. Here you see Australian 165-pound champ, 1950. But that's really why I showed the book to you, because I wanted you to take a look at Davey Sands. But since the book is out, just look around a little bit. Here you have Keen Simmons. He was a heavyweight. Very good heavyweight. As you can see, Bayonne, New Jersey. Remember, he fought those heavyweights at that time. He was part of that Willie James, heavyweights there. Bob Bakers. And he was a very good fighter, Keen Simmons. This man here, Jackie Cumberlaker. He was from Columbus, Ohio. Good fighter. Very, very good fighter. All of these guys here, George Sherman, Chicago middleweight. Mel Haman, flashy Minneapolis, as you can see. Strong punches, these guys. He was different at that time in the 40s, 50s, 30s. Men were different. Food was different. You didn't have all these requests what type of gloves you wanted to use. They cut trees with axe, no electronics, no electric saws and none of that. They were just stronger people. It was a different time. Attitudes were different. And that's why you see the fight records, the guys they fought. And it has nothing to do with whether they won or lost. This is what a misconception of boxing. You go in there and you accept challenges. You do what you have to do. You win some fights. Try to win as many fights as you possibly can, obviously. But that's what boxing was, the thrill of the game. He says he's better than me. Let's go find out. I've seen and I've heard stories where a lot of fights were made in the locker room. After sparring, guys talking a little greasy. And the manager say, you know what, let's get him in the ring. And before you know it, they're on a card. It happened just like that. Here, Willie Beam, another good heavyweight from California. He was in that Rock'em Sock'em with the Bob Bakers and the Keen Simmons and the Willie James. Very good heavyweights at that time. A lot of good action. Good fighter, Johnny Bossy. Good fighter, very very good fighter. I seen him on an undercard. I have a lot of reel to reel fights, and the thing with the reel to reels is that you get to see the undercards. You don't see that in the internet. Here you're looking at Moses Ward, Detroit middleweight. Moses Ward, good fighter, good middleweight. I'm just scrolling around in this book right here. This is book number 86 of the 1950s collection. I'm just trying to pick out some names here that you might, I'm not sure if you can recognize them, don't recognize them. But I have all these guys' profiles. This guy right here, Davey Gallardo, good Mexican fighter from California. He has some really, really good fights out there in California, in the West Coast. Al Cruz, another good one. Let's take a look. Pat Malcoon, this is Johnny Alpha. Okay, yeah, Johnny Alpha, good fighter also. I'm gonna show you a couple of other guys. Let's take a look. All right, here, this is Virgil Akins from St. Louis, Missouri. Virgil Akins was a welterweight champion. He had a tournament with Don Jordan. And a fascinating fighter was Virgil Akins. Yeah, you have Baby Ike. He was a welterweight. Phil Wildcat Kim, another good fighter from the West Coast. Fought a lot in the Olympic Club out there. Here, Gilbert Godelli, California. They called him Gil Godelli. He was another good fighter, good West Coast fighter that fought a lot at the Olympia. The Olympia on the West Coast was like Madison Square Garden. Pat Malcoon, Corleone and featherweight. Very good fighter out of New York. He fought a lot out of St. Nicholas Arena. He trained at Stillman's Gym. Stillman's Gym had all of the great fighters. And that was the gym that was closest to Madison Square Garden. So when all of the fighters came from out of town, they would stop by Stillman's Gym and you would see everybody there. All of the great fighters passed through Stillman's Gym. Lou Stillman was the owner of the gym. And he used to sit there with a gun, a 45 on his side holster. And he'd be on a PA and he would be announcing who would be sparring. They had 2 rings right next to each other. Sugar Ray Robinson, most of the times he would be seen outside of the gym, in the gym, but right outside the front door of the gym. And he would be standing on a chair, looking, because the window was up high, and he would be looking out the window. But he would never go in the gym. Too many good fighters in there to be challenged for a sparring session. So I'm just breezing through. Yeah, this guy here, Broadway Johnny Jones, Pittsburgh welterweight. He was quite a character also, Johnny Jones. So if any of my subscribers are interested in finding somebody who they, family member or so, just let me know in my comment section. Got a brother, Marshall Simmons, I'm still looking for a family member of his, so I still got you covered, Marshall Simmons. I want to shout out to a new subscriber of mine, Pete Rosario. Salute to him. He's a very, very good fight fan. Of course, I always got to shout out my brother Retro Boxing and Documentaries. The brother Kurt Sugar Anderson would appreciate this because he's a fight fan. The Corner, I got shout out to the Corner always. Salute to them. Jesse Flores. Primo Flores, lightweight, good fighter. Cyclone Williams. Very good middleweight, Cyclone Williams. This man right here, Tommy Campbell, good welterweight. For them all, he was in there with Armstrong. All the great fighters. Billy Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. He was real fast. But like I said, I took the book out so I can show you Davy Sands. I'm just walking you around. Pittsburgh middleweight prospect, hard punching Larry Huff. Jimmy King Kong Hunt. There's my dog barking in the background there. Now this fighter right here, this is Tommy Bell. Now this is the fighter that fought Sugar Ray Robinson for the welterweight championship in 1946. He had a brother by the name of Bobby Bell. They were out of Ohio. Fascinating fighter was Tommy Bell. Yeah, Tommy Bell was a fascinating fighter. Very good fighter. And Bobby Poison Ivy, he was from the Lower East Side. Jimmy Vaughn, he fought Armstrong and all of those guys. This is Jose Pessoa, but Jose Pessoa fought Sugar Ray Robinson, Puerto Rican middleweight. Here you have the team that was in the Army. Here you have Booker Beckwith. He was on that team, as you can see. Booker Beckwith. Hold on.